Ron DeSantis has opened a monoclonal antibody clinic in Lakeland. So I'm a little bit biased on this story because the place that he set it up at is actually the church that I go to. But I just want to kind of go through a little bit about this story, what's going on with this entire thing. I think this is a great event, a great occurrence that is taking place right now in Florida in particular. But the clinic was set up at Lake's Church and will be open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And DeSantis said that the clinic has the capacity to treat 300 patients per day using Regeneron. Okay, so here's a little bit of Ron DeSantis explaining this at the press conference there.
Thanks, Senator Stargel and Representative Hawkins, for being here. We're pleased to announce that starting today at 12:30, we'll be offering monoclonal antibodies treatment free of charge right here at Lake's Church. It'll be open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and we'll be able to treat more than 300 patients each and every day. The treatment of monoclonal antibodies using the Regeneron is designed for people that are at risk of hospitalization due to COVID-19. It's for people who are either COVID positive or who are high risk and have been exposed to somebody who is COVID positive. This has been available now since the end of 2020. It's been given the same emergency use authorization that the 3 vaccines have had, and has been used by our health systems in most parts of the state pretty consistently. However, it's something that a lot of people didn't know about, and so we've really helped raise the visibility of it. It's also something that prior to us setting up these sites, you had needed to go to a physician and actually get a doctor's prescription to be able to get it. So you have hospital systems that have infusion centers, physician refers you, go, no problem. What we've done here is had the Surgeon General issue a standing order, which makes it easy for people to be able to come in without having to necessarily see a doctor beforehand. And this is treatment that's available for people regardless of vaccination status. Obviously, if you're vaccinated, the chance of you getting seriously ill is less than somebody who is not vaccinated, all things being equal. However, people are testing positive who are vaccinated. It's not rare, it's happening. And then obviously, we know that a number of people that have been admitted to hospitals in the last month have not been vaccinated. And so this is, once you're infected or once you have an exposure, this is early treatment that has been proven to reduce the risk of hospitalization by 70%. And that's true in clinical trials. It's also been true in the real world data when it's been used. The Regeneron is what's being used here at these the clinics that the state is setting up. And part of the reason that we're doing that, one, it's free. The federal government bought out the entire stock of Regeneron last year once this was approved. And so the state draws down these treatments, patients come in, and patients are not charged for the Regeneron. I think it's just important to stress that because you'll have people putting out misinformation saying, oh, this is thousands of dollars. And look, I don't know what the federal government paid for it, but they paid for it. It's done. And so a Floridian that comes in is not going to be charged that, and it's just important. We don't want that to dissuade anybody from doing it. So drawing it down, Regeneron is the one monoclonal that has been shown to be effective against the Delta variant. You had the Eli Lilly also came out around the same time as Regeneron. The data isn't as good with respect to Delta, so most hospital systems and physicians are opting for the Regeneron. Regeneron has also been approved for application not just through an IV, but also subcutaneously. And so when you're hooked up to an IV, it's basically you got to be on the IV for about an hour. That's what most of the health systems are doing because that had been how it was initially approved for. It's since been added where you can do the subcutaneous. So that will involve people can come in, you get 2 shots in the belly, a shot in each arm, and then you're done. So that does not take an hour, and it allows these sites to be able to process more people if the demand is high. And then finally, I had mentioned the Regeneron is the only monoclonal that's approved for use for prophylaxis. And so you can imagine like a nursing home, if there's a positive test somewhere, you can go in and provide this to nursing home residents who may have been exposed. And again, most of these nursing home residents, of course, are vaccinated. They were the first ones we went into to be able to help them, but you still have people who are testing positive.
So obviously I'm a little biased because I actually go to this church, but this is an alternative treatment. That's what this is about. It's about offering people alternatives to the vaccine, as we're seeing, especially with after the FDA stuff and whatnot that's going on. Remember, Trump was also treated with this as well last year. A lot of people aren't even aware of that. So, if it's good enough for Trump, I would assume that it's good enough for anybody, if they're willing to use it on a very high-profile individual like the President of the United States. So, once again, this is just to open this up and allow people to have options. And right now, we're at a point in time, not only through social media, but just through the media in general, that where it's being discouraged of these other treatments. I mean, you really see them actually suppressing this over and over again. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to report on it. They don't want to show you what's going on. It's a bit ridiculous because really this should be about actually making sense out of different varieties of treatments that are there. There's plenty that we are aware of, but they, once again, don't want you to talk about them whatsoever. Even if they have a proven track record to actually work, they will censor you simply because this isn't the vaccine. That's what this is about. You have to ask yourself at some point, why are they so busy trying to push only the vaccine when there's other types of treatment that are out there that people don't even know about? Because the fake news doesn't report on it and doesn't tell you anything about it at all. Once again, when you know that, this isn't about your health. This isn't about you being better and them caring about your health. It's about them trying to push something very specific by saying vaccine, 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 and ignoring all of the other treatments that are out there. Once again, this should be my body, my choice kind of thing that you would hear the left typically say, but they don't want to believe in that in this particular situation. They just feel like it must be something that they must mandate, that they must make everybody adhere to no matter what you believe. And the fact is that this is significantly better. What Ron DeSantis is doing is significantly better than what Cuomo is doing by throwing COVID-positive patients into nursing homes and killing upwards of 15,000 elders because of that. They want so badly for Ron DeSantis to be the person that they can blame for this. They call him Ron Death Santis, and they keep trying to make Florida out to be the worst place on earth. Meanwhile, they can't do it. They just can't do it. A great example of this is that the AP wrote an article trying to condemn DeSantis for pushing these COVID alternative treatments. Once again, they have proven track records as well. So the Associated Press was talking about this, and they said one of Governor Ron DeSantis' top donors is invested in the company that makes a life-saving COVID treatment. And they're talking about the Regeneron there. So the issue is that this all falls apart very quickly because that apparent donor that they're talking about, Ken Griffin, is the CEO of Chicago-based hedge fund Citadel, which also donated to Joe Biden's inauguration committee. So how can he, on the one hand, be this in the pocket of Ron DeSantis, but also be donating to the Biden administration as well? That would be kind of odd, wouldn't it? That doesn't make much sense. That's why it falls apart, because obviously that's not true. And you don't see them, of course, writing an article saying that Biden is in cahoots with the person that's doing Regeneron or pushing that. Of course, that's not what's happening. They're using it as once again, as a reason to try and attack Ron DeSantis, but nothing else towards Biden or anyone else like that. Now, the thing is that Regeneron sold all of its 1.5 million doses of, like I said, of the monoclonal antibody cocktail to the U.S. government. So all of this has already been bought out. It's literally free. It's already been paid for and everything. So when you're typically talking about somebody being financially invested in something, we're talking about stock prices or something along those lines where it would say, oh, by them pushing this, they are in turn raising their profits or raising their stocks or raising their sales. Well, that can't happen if the government already paid for everything. So the stock prices are deemed effectively irrelevant because why would it matter? The government already paid for all of this. The company already made its money. So DeSantis trying to push this treatment is not a way or really in any benefit to Floridians at all, in the sense of the stock prices going up or the sales going up in any way. It actually doesn't really matter if Floridians take this treatment or not because it's already been bought and paid for, everything. So this just demonstrates the lengths that the left is willing to go through to attack conservatives no matter what. That's what this has always been about. It's just we need to make Ron DeSantis look evil, look bad, look incompetent at his job. So we'll do everything and anything in our power to make sure that that happens, whether it's true or whether it's false. This clip from the William Hall Show is sponsored by the Second Amendment Jerky Company. This is a company founded on a simple idea: make the best beef jerky available and donate to the efforts and organizations that help support the Second Amendment. And let me tell you, this is awesome beef jerky. No gimmicks. Go to 2ajerky.com to support the Second.